Ethan, take Julia to be your lawful wedded wife.
If someone's trying to pull an Inception on Ethan Hunt, then they picked the absolute wrong guy to play the minister.
Erase her identity, force her into hiding.
Wow, and it was all a dream cliche to open the film.
You should have killed me, Ethan.
Since when do movie characters nightmare dream the movie's actual plot? I mean, that evil dude does come back and is behind a nuke plot. So can Ethan's subconscious see the future or what? Oh, thank God, somebody finally heard us. I'm gonna take a sin off for this movie giving us a city-only location text, and not assuming I need to be told Belfast is in Ireland.
Fate whispers to the warrior, a storm is coming.
Holy a storm is coming even in the middle of a series of past phrases is still a goddamn storm is coming cliche. Jesus, I hope they didn't use a rare edition just so they could get a message to Ethan. Couldn't they have used the art of the deal instead? Now, all because of Gary, all IMF agents need to verify their identities by pricking their finger into a DNA reader. F***ing Gary. This entire message is for Ethan Hunt alone, and yet the IMF had to have employed at least a dozen people to even make this detailed digital presentation with maps and HD video. And my point is, at what point does it become cheaper, easier, and less dangerous to just brief this motherfucker in person and skip all the theatrics that are almost certainly only for the benefit of the viewing audience anyway?
Known only by the codename John Lark.
AKA John MacGuffin.
This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
But what if I want to rewind it? What if I miss something? That was a lot of information packed into 2 minutes. What is smallpox? Vaping.
He's late.
For Christ's sake, can't these assholes be on time for once? You know, because being late rarely ever matters one whit in movie world.
It's entirely possible to be relaxed and extremely uneasy at the same time.
Ethan was told that a person by the code name of John Lark had hired the Apostles, who were in contact with elements of the Eastern European underworld that stole the plutonium. So how did they get this meeting set up with so little information? I know Ethan is a living, breathing Rolodex with the names of bad guys and their associates in his head and could get some promising leads to set up such a meet, but this is ridiculous, especially since John Lark was already in contact with them and should have already bought the goods. No lie, 2 weeks after filming this movie, the plutonium testing app was removed from the iTunes store under mysterious circumstances.
Don't you do it, Ethan! Not for me!
Whenever a movie character tells another one not to do a thing, usually as a noble attempt at sacrifice, 99% of the time the main character still does that thing they were warned not to do by the would-be sacrificer. And it's kind of annoying. Ethan Hunt sometimes still has to get his news from Wolf Blitzer, which is sinful as but the movie's going to use Wolf as a masked body double, so this is actually Chekhov's Blitzer, which was coincidentally also the name of my high school Rammstein cover band.
Well, if he reads Lark's manifesto, I'll give you the passcode.
We're going to find out in a minute that Benji is posing as Wolf Blitzer to read literal fake news, so that this Nils guy will give them the passcode to a cell phone. And I'm just wondering, how the can these guys not get into a cell phone? Given the technology we've routinely seen the IMF use, how hard is that to hack?
The car accident you in, that was an hour ago.
I was driving the other car.
Didn't the self-destruct message tell Ethan that Nils had disappeared and that John Lark was responsible? If he could find him, why couldn't IMF find him? Look, I can connect the dots. Ethan called somebody who knew somebody who goes out drinking with Nils, and they found him that way. Just don't tell me IMF couldn't figure this out on their own. Why do all the Mission Impossible movies insist on spoiling themselves during the opening credits? I can objectively say this is the worst thing about the Mission Impossible movies. Well, besides the entire second movie.
This woman, Alana Mitsopoulos.
Alana Mistopoulos? That sounds like a Bond name that forgot to include any sexual innuendo. Also, that's Lady Gaga. Boom, done. Solved it for you. Let's go get a taco.
Because coming over here from the CIA was a lateral move. Some say a step down, but I did it because of you.
No one will be seated during the strange platonic love declaration outside the military plane scene.
I have operational authority here, direct from the president. You have a problem with that, you take it up with him.
I have already, and he agrees with me. My man goes.
Then why not just lead with that in the first place?
No one comes between you and that plutonium. Not Hunt, not his team, not anyone.
I love Angela Bassett, but this seems to be her role in almost every movie. Come in, say something terse, then leave the picture until she's needed again. Question, why can't she go on this mission? I like Henry Cavill and all, but I want to see Angela Bassett kick some ass.
I assume his identity. Make contact with the widow. She takes us to the package.
The plan in these movies is always the same. And just like every other time, his stated plan here will go awry, and they'll have to improvise. Somebody should make software that acts as a Mission Impossible screenplay starter kit.
I know you don't want me on this detail.
This is the mustache that single-handedly ruined Justice League.
You're why we don't have a living witness who can identify John Lark or the Apostles.
It's almost like it should be super obvious that he is John Lark.
Isn't that the thing?
2 minutes to decompression.
Look at these f***ing suits. They put all this on in 2 minutes? Off, movie. You're awesome, but you yada yada so much. God damn it, Christopher McQuarrie. This is the f***ing right here. I'm removing 3 sins for this camera and stunt work. All of you are madmen. All of you. I guess you can pull your parachute a mere couple thousand feet above the ground and have your chute grab onto the spire of a building. And that will prevent you from dying or getting major whiplash or injuries. Not to mention the fact that the spire would rip a hole in the chute and Ethan would keep falling to his death. I don't have proof that this wouldn't work, but I have my gut, damn it. The f***ing August wasn't just passed out on the Halo jump. Lightning struck super close and maybe hit him, forced them apart, and he remained unconscious through the entire drop. But now he's light as a feather and right as f***ing rain. I know he's a super agent and but he ain't an alien from Krypton. Raves this big. Also, Raves. This bathroom is a lie. Look at this f***ing bathroom. It's first of all ginormous, and if you've ever been to a club or a rave, you know the bathrooms are always basically the size of a bathroom at an Applebee's, if you're lucky. Second of all, how clean is this shit? People, bar bathrooms are gross. Dirt, pee, should be everywhere in this bitch. You got it looking like someone's about to serve sushi in here. Did Stanley Kubrick's ghost clean this bathroom? I'm half expecting Vincent D'Onofrio to show up and tell us he's living in a world of Ethan is a man aware of every single detail going on in a room at any given time. The fact that he missed this blocking asshole is some bull. These guys walk in, giving the movie a little bit of realism cred as Ethan and Superman try to copy Lark's face. But they're the only guys to walk in during this entire scene. Remember, there were about 10 people in here when Ethan first came in, and this is a huge party. There would be non-stop urination going on. Non-stop, I tell you.
He had a date with the widow. You look nothing like him.
And now, we have to hope they never met.
How many Mission Impossible movies rely on the bad guy not ever meeting the person they're doing business with? Like all of them? At least half, right?
Hope is not a strategy,
said my college girlfriend after I inhaled the oysters and absinthe. How does McQuarrie make a human Henry Cavill character look tougher and more badass than a Superman Cavill character ever has? I'm gonna add another sin for Justice League, because sometimes good movies need to make sacrifices for the bad ones.
We paid a great deal of money for this information.
Looks like the White Widow had to change into prison break planning couture for this meeting.
What happens after the diversion?
You want your plutonium? This is the price.
This is an extremely odd trade-off. It's not like John Lark being impersonated by Ethan here needed to do anything. He didn't set up this prison break. He's just along for the ride. The people they have are more than enough to pull this off. Kind of surprised Ethan doesn't ask, why do you even need me? Or at least ask himself what he's really offering in this deal, which is practically nothing. It's Mission Impossible ride-along.
I wanted Lark to lead us to the plutonium and the apostles.
Wait, so the CIA orchestrated this whole prison break scheme just so they could get to Lark? Why does this have to be a prison break at all? Why does this even have to be a prison break for a man like Solomon Lane? If the broker, aka the White Widow, is working for you, why can't you just set up a standard bad guys meet in a warehouse sale and follow him from there?
How many times has Hunt's government betrayed him, disavowed him, cast him aside?
Pretty much once per movie. So 6? 5, I guess, until it happens later in this movie, which will make it 6. He's handing her the phone he says they pulled off the dead body in the bathroom, suggesting it will have proof that Ethan Hunt is the real John Lark. But you guys are saying Lark is a master spy, the puppet master of other master spies. He's always been way ahead of you. You don't even know what his face looks like, but you think he hired this other dude to be a Lark decoy, and that other guy used his fucking cell phone for that conversation? This is a world where important messages self-destruct, goddammit! Man, skinny Liam Neeson doesn't look so tough in that straitjacket and leg irons, and being so skinny. If you look up the word omniscient in the dictionary, it's a picture of Ilsa. Look, I'm not saying you stop, but if you're transporting the most notorious criminal in the world in a convoy and a double trailer truck crashes in your main route's path, right as you show up there, that is an attack. You are under attack. Do not simply change routes and carry on. This sin goes for the Dark Knight as well. I mean, Jesus, this little strip of drivable waterfront road is literally named Ambush Alley on Google Maps. Luckily for Ethan's intervention plan, the doors of this van open up after a couple collisions and dump every single bad guy onto the street for the cops to come by and arrest them. Whoa, Tom Cruise on a motorcycle cliche and vehicle won't start cliche in one? Considering the narrow tunnel he's stuck in, I'm gonna call this clichéception. All 3 of these assholes miss, and they've got the high van. This movie is just giving all the fingers to the Bourne movies, and I'm okay with it. Yes, Ethan is driving against the grain of infamous Arc de Triomphe traffic, but the sin is this f***ing roundabout. This is like the city planners said, God will show the drivers the way, and they built it based on that. Cops surround Ethan a block from the Arc, taking up every street except this one, the one he needed all along. Way to go, French cops. Okay, he called for special extraction, but no way he or they could have known he'd end up here, and yet everyone did. He got knocked off his motorcycle in a crash that should have killed him, but movie makes it seem like that was on purpose so he could disappear right here in this spot. Mission Impossible, The French Connection. Man, it's kind of amazing Paris isn't on lockdown after the daring attempt to break Solomon Lane from his prison transport. Paris needs to hire a Tommy Lee Jones. It's almost like they forgot about the escape. The only thing impossible in these movies is shooting the tires, I guess. I mean, she's aiming for Solomon Lane, but her perfect kill shot didn't go through the glass earlier, so why take the chance here? Make sure they can't drive first, then kill him. Running over your girlfriend? Priceless.
The Syndicate was a pack of murdering cowards.
Syndicate, civilization's last hope.
So, the League of Shadows?
It's complicated.
Roll credits. Wait, wrong Alec Baldwin movie.
He's yours. At the meeting, not before.
What?
You needed him to break Lane out because you have to kill Lane.
So the CIA wanted Lark to break Lane out because they wanted Lark to lead them to the Apostles and plutonium. Ilsa wanted Lark to break Lane out because she wanted to kill Lane. Considering the sheer amount of omniscience Ilsa displays in this movie, knowing about the prison break is not an issue. What is an issue is considering the sheer amount of omniscience, she and MI6 couldn't come up with a better plan to kill Lane.
Who's making you do this? MI6.
Yes, of course MI6 is making her do this. That's the name of the movie, right?
When the Apostles realize that you're playing games,
you'll lose the plutonium. Again.
That's literally a Bible verse. I think it's John Lark 3:16. Maybe I'm too easily impressed, but damn, this is a great movie moment. August has been looking at this monitor the whole time, so how the does he end up getting fooled? There's no double mask thing going on where Solomon's been Benji and Benji's been Solomon the whole time, and then they put on another mask of their real face, so they did literal magic here to fool August in this scene, and the movie never quite explains how it happens. Is there any reason why they didn't just lock August in this cell for a moment while they cleared things up?
I thought we had a deal.
We did, and now we don't.
This movie has entirely too many double crosses, twists, and turns. John Lark, a fake name, August Walker, who works for the CIA and is John Lark, Solomon Lane, the Apostles, the CIA, the IMF, the White Widow, who is a broker between the bad guys, but who is also working for the CIA, and who has a criminal brother with a Marvel villain's name, Ilsa Faust and her motives, two different organizations wanted Lane out of prison for different reasons, the Eastern Europeans who stole the plutonium in the first place. It is a lot to take in. On top of the double-cross confusion, now we have an action scene that is shot in the dark, only lit by flashlights, and while it's not hyper-edited or shot with an unhealthy dose of shaky cam, it can be hard to tell where everyone is, who's shooting, and why we care. Sorry, Alec. Desk boss IMF guy doesn't last 2 seconds against CIA covert assassin guy. More insane camera and stunt work. You know what? Give this movie another 5 cents off.
Sorry, I had it in 2D. Good luck.
That's hilarious, but this is their tech guy. I like how he's carrying around a picture of Hunt's former wife just in case Hunt catches up to him right here and now.
And she would wonder who's watching the world while Ethan is watching me. Deep down, they both knew that something truly terrible was going to happen, all because they were together.
The f***ing hubris on those two, though. Ethan's a fantastic spy, but he's not Batman. He's not stopping all the bad things in the world while spying. Only some of them, because he's one man. Christ, so many better ways to explain their parting of ways.
If there's a way to defuse these bombs, I can't find it.
You'll figure it out. I know you will.
Only in movies do people say shit like this, and especially only in movies does it turn out to be true.
I think I found it.
Christ, that was fast!
What's his last position?
About 30 miles northeast.
And that's where he wants us to go.
Solomon Lane has a raging murder boner with the manifesto tagline, the greater the suffering, the greater the peace. Yet his revenge boner is much more important, allowing Ethan to know where the attack is going to take place. Even if it is 99% unlikely Ethan and his team can find the bombs and defuse them, isn't the fact that he failed to stop them and that his ex-wife is going to die enough?
Wait, just so I've got this clear. Our only chance to safely defuse both bombs is to let the countdown start.
Ilsa would be pretty f***ing awesome at CinemaSins. Ah, sudden West Bentley. Why stop the Jeep all the way back here? Is it just so Tom Cruise can run some more? Come on, he regained control of a spiraling chopper and caught back up to Walker that quickly.
Benji! Coming! Benji! Luther!
Bummer. The radios are going out. I guess because mountains? Question. If the radios don't work through the mountains at this range, how will the detonator Walker is holding work? It's also using a radio signal, yes? Rebecca Ferguson chasing someone down at a cabin? This reminds me way too much of the Snowman. Oh god, he tied her up? All because he wants her to witness this or something? I really want to like Solomon Lane, but his need for people to know he got his revenge is making it very difficult. And like this is a situation a trained government agent can't get out of. Jesus. She clearly says Benji stop, and he clearly heard her, and I do think he should have reacted better, but I'm sitting the fact that she didn't just yell Lane is here or ambush or something more helpful than Benji stop. There's absolutely no reason that this helicopter should stop tumbling, but the bare minimum of rock apparently stops it to a halt. 6 minutes left from a 15-minute timer. 6 minutes. Ethan started running after the helicopter 14 minutes ago. The original script for this Sin video had 15 he survives this sins in a row here during the film's climax.
Why won't you just die?
This bad guy cliche is so disappointing in a great action movie, I'm considering adding multiple sins. But I can't be mad at you, Mission Impossible 6. I just can't. Still, 1 sin. Christ, does gravity stop working at the edges of mountains when moving through Kashmir? I think that's the way the Led Zeppelin song goes. I asked a mathematician friend to calculate the odds that Hunt could one-tug that cable and have the heavy hook end up smacking Walker, and that mathematician is no longer my friend. He's got 16 seconds, folks. 16 seconds to free solo the rest of this mountain and pull the firing key. I know that the movie wants to make it suspenseful, but I'd rather see him actually do it than cut away and pretend like he's not gonna do it. I know he's exhausted and almost died, like a dozen times in the last 10 minutes, but don't lie so close to the edge, you idiot!
She got here not long after you left, right in front of half the Indian army.
And she's gone.
No, minimum security prison is no picnic. The trick is, kick someone's ass the first day, or become someone's bitch.
Football practice!
You have an immaculate record. Some people don't trust a guy with an immaculate record. I do. I have an immaculate record.
The fact that it recorded static isn't what interests me. What interests me is that it recorded approximately 18 hours of it.
Fate whispers to the warrior.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
I'm gonna count to 3.
3 shall be the number thou shalt count, and the number of the counting shall be 3.
Is it true Lane gassed a village of 2,000 people?
You know bees and dogs can smell fear?
I did warn you not to trust me.
It's like a million wires in here. More like a 3-wire guy.